Paris, January 1887. The ground shakes, not from an earthquake, from something the city has never seen before. 250 workers are tearing up the Champ de Mars, and whatever they are building, the whole world is already arguing about it. Where you see the most recognized structure on Earth today, there was nothing, just a military parade ground on the edge of the city. The Paris of 1887 had no skyscrapers, no steel towers, no concept that iron could be beautiful. That was about to change forever. France is preparing to host the 1889 Exposition Universelle, the World's Fair, to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the French Revolution. The government wants something spectacular, something that declares France is the most modern nation on earth. They want a tower 300 meters tall, the tallest structure ever built by human hands. The man who wins the contract is Gustave Eiffel. He is already famous. His firm built the internal iron skeleton of the Statue of Liberty just 2 years earlier. But this tower is different. This is his name on the skyline of the most watched city in the world. He has 26 months, not a day more. Paris erupts. Before a single rivet is struck, 300 of France's most prominent artists and intellectuals sign a petition calling the planned tower a dishonor to Paris. A gigantic black factory chimney. The novelist Guy de Maupassant is so disgusted, he reportedly eats lunch at the tower's base restaurant every day because it's the only place in Paris where he can't see it. Construction begins anyway. January 28th, 1887. The first challenge is not the height. It's what's beneath the ground. The Seine riverbank here is soft, waterlogged clay. 2 of the 4 foundations sit partially under the water table. Eiffel's engineers design compressed air caissons, pressurized chambers that allow workers to dig in the waterlogged ground without it flooding. This technology is cutting edge. It is also extremely dangerous. Every single iron component is fabricated off-site at Eiffel's factory in Levallois-Perret on the western edge of Paris. The precision is extraordinary. Each of the tower's 18,038 iron components is individually designed, numbered, and pre-drilled. Holes must align to within 1/10 of a millimeter. Then the pieces are loaded onto horse-drawn carts and transported through the streets of Paris to the Champ de Mars. By summer 1887, the 4 massive concrete foundation pads are complete. Now comes the most visually dramatic phase. The 4 angled legs begin to rise. The challenge: each leg leans at a 54-degree angle. They must meet perfectly at the first platform, 57 meters up, with no room for error. To hold each leg at precisely the right angle during construction, Eiffel uses 12 hydraulic jacks, then revolutionary technology, underneath each foundation pad. The riveting teams are the heart of this construction. Each team of 4 works as a unit. The first man heats a rivet in a small portable coal forge until it glows orange. He throws it, sometimes 10 meters, to the second man, who catches it in a cone-shaped tin. The third man holds it in position with a backing iron. The fourth hammers it home in seconds before it cools. The tower requires 2.5 million rivets. 1 in 5 is placed at height. At peak construction, around 250 workers are on site each day, a deliberately small number by the standards of the era. Eiffel insists on it. He believes in precision over mass labor. Most workers are from the Paris region. Some are specialized iron workers from Bordeaux and Lyon. They earn between 7 and 10 francs a day, good wages for the time. But Eiffel fights tooth and nail against giving them a raise when they strike for more in 1888. He settles reluctantly at a 5 centime increase per hour. By the standards of the era, the Eiffel Tower's safety record is remarkable, and Eiffel is acutely aware of the optics. He installs guardrails, movable platforms, and on-site canteen facilities to reduce workers leaving the site and drinking at nearby bars on their breaks. One man dies during construction, a worker who falls during an unauthorized off-hours visit with his girlfriend. Officially, it stays at 0 workplace fatalities. For a structure of this scale and height, that is almost unheard of. From this height, the workers can see a Paris no one has ever seen before. The city below them is a city of stone. No skyscrapers, no steel frames, every building limited to 6 floors by law. To stand here in 1888 and look out is to see the most modern city in the world, and to realize that the thing you are building is going to change what modern means forever. Autumn 1888. The second platform clears 115 meters. The tower is now taller than the Notre Dame Cathedral, taller than anything that has ever been built in France. Parisians who mocked it are starting to stop and stare. Newspapers that called it a monstrosity begin running illustrations of it on their front pages, not to criticize, but because people want to see it. The narrative is shifting. January to March 1889. The race to the top. The final upper section rises at extraordinary speed, faster than any stage below it, because the structure narrows and there are fewer components per level. On March 31st, 1889, Gustave Eiffel climbs the internal staircase and personally plants the French tricolor at the summit, 300.65 meters above Paris. The tower has taken 2 years, 2 months, and 5 days to build. It is the tallest man-made structure on Earth. It will hold that record for 41 years. The Exposition Universelle opens on May 6, 1889. In 6 months, nearly 2 million people ride the tower's hydraulic elevators. The critics fall silent. Thomas Edison visits and leaves his signed calling card for Eiffel in the apartment at the top, which Eiffel has built for himself. Buffalo Bill is here, the Shah of Persia, the Prince of Wales. The tower doesn't just dominate the fair, it is the fair. France has done what it set out to do. Here is something almost nobody knows. The tower was designed to be temporary. The original contract stipulated it would be demolished after 20 years. In 1909, Eiffel knew this, so he made himself useful. He installed a military telegraph antenna at the summit. In 1898, he ran meteorological experiments from it. When wireless radio emerged, the tower became the most powerful transmission point in France. In 1909, the demolition order is quietly shelved. The critics' temporary eyesore had become permanent infrastructure. The tower you see today is not quite the tower of 1889. It has been repainted 18 times. Its original bronze-brown color became the familiar yellow-brown of the early 20th century, and eventually the reddish-brown it wears today. It has grown. Radio antennas add another 24 meters to the original 300, but the iron bones are the same 18,038 components, the same 2.5 million rivets, the same 4 legs converging at precisely the angles Eiffel's engineers calculated by hand. with no computers in a Paris office in 1884. The Eiffel Tower does something no building had done before. It proves that iron and steel, industrial materials, factory materials, can define a city. Before 1889, the prestige materials of architecture were stone and marble. After 1889, engineers are architects. The skyscraper era that follows in Chicago and New York is directly inspired by what Eiffel demonstrated on the Champ de Mars. The modern city, the city of glass and steel, begins here in Paris with a structure its own citizens called ugly. Every city has a moment when it becomes itself. Rome had the Pantheon. London had St. Paul's. Paris had this, built in 793 days by 250 workers with hand tools and hydraulic jacks and absolute precision. The men who threw glowing rivets across open air at 100 meters, who ate their bread and drank their wine on iron beams above the rooftops of Paris. They are largely nameless, but what they made is the most visited monument on Earth. 7 million people a year. A structure that was meant to disappear, that almost did, and that now defines a city and a century and an idea. That human ambition, when it is precise enough and stubborn enough, becomes permanent. If you made it this far, thank you. Drop a comment below telling us which city or structure you'd like us to travel to next. Like this video if it taught you something you didn't know. Subscribe if you want to keep going back. As always, we'll see you in the past.